Well, this morning we decided to come to Bondi and as a standard practice, before a major event, come, meet the resort people, check out on the accommodation, audio systems, a whole lot of other things. So we did that in the morning, and so maybe an hour or so we're spending here talking to the resort manager, everything, finding out things, answering things, and then we heading back to Madras most of the night. Well, now, whatever I'm going to say from now on, I'm not too sure what right I have to be saying it. Well, besides the fact that few of you, but quite a few of you in fact, requested me to do something like this before the reunion. Well, other than that, I have no credentials. In your context, maybe I've spent a career in team building, a lifetime practically, in some brand building, communication development both online and offline, guiding people to do it, and so on and so on. So first, in fact, my reaction was no, I do not want to do it because it's my reunion too, and I want to sit back and enjoy myself. I don't want to get into any kind of conflict management. And I always believed that prevention is better than cure. So I said, well, I'm not going for it, I'm just tired, physically, emotionally, otherwise. But then I say later sat and thought about it. And I said somebody has to build the cat. And from the beginning, having recognized that we are a widely disparate group with just a single strand of homogeneity, consciously like in any town, when a new town is being built, it requires its trees, it requires its teachers, it requires its bank officers, it requires various this thing. It also requires a badass, a cop, a back cop, whatever. So as much as my real nature is not that, I said, okay, it's needed to be done and you can't always be sweet about things. Otherwise things don't get done. And my basic belief is that to make an omelette, you need to break a few eggs. So I volunteered myself, nobody asked me to, for the role of agent of paper at times. What do you call it? Some degree of devil's advocate or contrariness, you call it, and also a badass, in the sense, a bad cop. Well, the first two I'm comfortable with, the last I was not, and I still am not. But when you're supposed to do and forced to do and you have to do, you do it. Yeah, in the process you also got to be ready to earn a few brickbats, not earn, I would call it, to have your head bruised by a few heavy brickbats. But that's part of the game. You do it in the hope that over a period of time people will understand. I mean, and that's something one is very happy about from the beginning. We moved from a stage of where every little argument or dissension was considered a major fight, was that, to a stage, as let's put it, where people agree to disagree. And people have recognized that you can say no, you can say yes. You don't have to always say yes. And it doesn't have to be personalized. You have to dissent. You have to have differences of opinion. But still the personal bonding or the friendship doesn't suffer. Well, to go back in time, it was Mac. I always believed, maybe 20 years back, he started this M.A. Krishna as we knew him then. And I really appreciate the fact that when probably all of us were hungering after our careers on the young turfs and the nostalgia had not set in, he still started the whole thing. So I really respect that. With the spirit of me tagging along, we decided to do something, didn't work out. But as is my nature, I said, well, if you don't want us, we don't want them. But Sri was persistent, so was Elizabeth. And well, then that made Sri again happen 3 years after the line. Then Liz came in, then there was Gauri, with the solidity, Kishan, Vijay, restless dynamic moving all around, Suresh Babs, then you have Chitra, you have Sudha, you have Yaz, Supsi, Uma with the heartbreaking name, Anand Jyoti with the quietness, Manju with his quiet support, Willie with his humor, and many others, just about every one of you. So it's been a journey over time. Now we're coming to the reunion, which is what, 31 years down the line, and we last saw each other by and large, all of us as a group as 17-year-olds who probably one evening decided to go home with our lunch boxes, okay, and then we walked into each individual sunset, our own sunsets. So today we are collecting back from all over the world, and it's nostalgia that drives us, and it's a fact that we were children once and we want to be in that same world. It's a fact that we're getting something. I mean, a lot of you might say, oh, nothing much. But then you ask yourself, deep at heart, is it not anything much? Of course it is. You are getting back a world which you never thought you had, phases, emotions that you never thought you'd feel again, togetherness, borne, and that innocence which you probably miss now, today's age. A letting down of hair which I don't think you can do with anybody else but people who you've grown up with. In this, during this period of time also, it's utopian to realize, utopian, not realize, to think that we are not disparate. Of course we are disparate by profession, by gender, by where we come from, by our cultural backgrounds now, by how we evolved, by our lifestyles, the works. And there's one single homogeneous factor, which that we all came from the same roots. So in effect today we are more heterogeneous than homogeneous. Those days we were really homogeneous. So it's left to us to make that homogeneity happen. We can't just rest on ourselves and say, okay, that's how we are. We have to find meeting grounds beyond the point, beyond the fact that we all come from the same roots. And that essentially is the root of crisis management or conflict management. And as you can see, from those days when we started, the conflicts have come down, there's a lot more understanding and so on and so forth. And it can come only from understanding. We have to understand that we have to spend enough time understanding each other. So first, though I said no, then I said yes, let me do it. I initially thought I would write a note. But then I said, well, there goes it. A lot of you would say, there goes the idiot all over again, Niket. He's writing all over again. Fair enough, I understand that in a type-press world. Plus my wrists are like mothered, absolutely mothered. So I said, okay, out here, let me do this, a one-on-one. Now, in the reunion, I think what is important are a few of these things. All of you can help us do it. Nothing like that. See, I don't think the regulation has to come from within. Self-regulation is the best. No point, because all of us want to enjoy ourselves. Nobody wants to be, hanging around, playing the, do this or do that kind of role. We just want to be ourselves, free like children. Secondly, we've got to realize that in any large disparate group, there are bound to be some kind of conflicts. The point is, we've got to, as I was saying, prevention is better than cure. That's why we are doing this. And we expect nothing will happen. Nothing would be there. So the chance of minimizing it to the bare minimum, so the fun keeps going, is most important. So one is self-regulation, understanding that the best happiness that we have is making the other person happy. Third is at all points of time, remember that we are out here to be children all over again, have fun together, help each other out. Help each other out as in during those 2 days, just be happy together. In a sense, in one of those contexts, one would say is, maybe one of the things that one could avoid is any form of sarcastic humor, personalized jokes. Well, if you know each other very well, it's a different thing, or it's in private, it's a different thing. But when it's in public, people can react, because right then they feel to defend themselves and so on and so forth. The context changes, and what becomes a small thing starts getting larger. The best thing is, be very careful that we kind of stay put in those areas, and we ensure that we don't do anything which can cause any disorder. Second thing is, basically, as I said, it's not any kind of have and have much kind of thing. Out here, we have to be at the reunion. It is not there to showcase the latest BMW we have in our underground parking slot, or the huge pool we built at home, or whatever, or the fancy holiday we take somewhere. Last time I went no speaking in Greenland kind of talk. It doesn't matter. We're just here, we are in England, we are in school, we are still the same youngsters, the teenagers, whatever. And there are different social classes, privileged to underprivileged coming and so on and so forth. Out there, nothing that can cause any essential kind of harm. Third, basically, is the fact that we need to, at all points of time, be self-regulated in terms of Yes, how do we behave before and after a certain degree of inebriation? The point is not to run away from all these, we to manage them. A little bit of liquor is part and parcel of the game. It's there for any celebration. A lot of lifestyles today kind of include that. And more importantly, is I think a lot of people out here, especially from abroad, have come for a holiday too. The point is not to, go and worry about it. No, but manage it and ensure that everybody understands that. So I guess that's about it that one has to say. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun. And I'm sure all of us are today mature enough, grown up enough, and all of us want this to be as happy as possible. That's the most important. On this note, saying this, I sign off now. See you at the reunion. Let's have fun together. Alright? Hello, November.